We all remember the case of Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi citizen, the person working in the U.S. for the Washington Post, who was called into the Saudi consulate and then murdered by agents, had his body dismembered, and then disposed of. Now, this was a very big thing. It was a public relations nightmare for Saudi Arabia before the WWE came along and decided to try to help rehabilitate their image. Essentially, this was something Mohammed bin Salman, the de facto ruler of the country, did eventually face a great deal of criticism for. Originally, originally Saudi Arabia denied that they had any involvement, and then later they turned around and said, well, it was rogue agents that did it. And then afterwards, Khashoggi took partial responsibility by saying, well, it happened on his watch, so it's his fault, when in fact, he was the one who ordered the killing of Khashoggi because he was a very heavy critic of many of the powers that be inside of Saudi society. Now, a whistleblower has come forward from the U.S. government who claims that Jared Kushner was actually the one who gave bin Salman the green light to go ahead and kill Khashoggi. Khashoggi being a U.S., I believe he was a U.S. national. Anyway, he was living in the U.S., he had U.S. ties, etc. And that he gave him the go-ahead. Now, if this accusation is true, which I highly do believe that it very probably is, then Trump gave a foreign head of state permission to go ahead and kill a U.S. citizen because that person was too critical of that government. I think about that and the very serious, dangerous precedent that sets as a result. Now, the weekly British magazine, The Spectator, in which this was revealed, said that investigators in the U.S. House Intelligence Committee were aware of this whistleblower's claims and that they were digging into them further. Now, on top of this, in May, Newsweek cited U.S. journalist Michael Wolff, who has written previous books on the current administration inside the White House, saying that in an upcoming book, Kushner said that the slain Khashoggi, this is how he actually detailed Khashoggi. The guy was a link between certain factions of the Saudi royal family and Osama bin Laden. We know that. A journalist? Come on, he was a terrorist masquerading as a journalist. Now, there are tremendous criticisms that you could make of Jamal Khashoggi. For example, he criticized the lack of freedoms inside of Saudi Arabia, the violations of human rights, etc., but then turned around and supported U.S. violent foreign policy, including saying Assad must go, proving once again that the Assad curse may in fact be a very real thing. So this is a little bit, in terms of moral, he wasn't exactly like a completely pure, innocent guy who was killed by bin Salman. But what's important here is that a foreign head of state was given permission to kill a U.S. citizen. And if the Senate Intelligence Committee knows about this, that would definitely be enough. Not necessarily for the public, but for other politicians to go ahead and vote to have Trump removed from office in an impeachment, which I believe has already passed the House of the Congress. I can't remember. I believe it's Congress that it has already passed. Whichever the one is controlled by the Democrats, it's already passed. This would certainly be enough. And this is some very important news. This is very, very significant. It could be something that could completely change the direction of the United States political landscape for some time to come. The question is, when is this going to be when is this going to be fully presented to the American public so they can make that decision for themselves?
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.